Hello, my friends. Welcome to Backyard Organics. This is part two of our garden tour. To show you a few more things. We left off with our comfrey. I spoke a little bit about that, which is this here. I mentioned how it's a dynamic accumulator and it brings all the nutrients from the soil into the leaves. So I mostly use it for, you can use it for mulch, uh, break it up, or even just lay it flat for mulch or in and around your other plants. Or I use it for my compost. It does a good job of adding micronutrients and heating up your compost. So that's what I use it for. But a lot of people will actually use it for, they'll make tea out of the dried leaves. And for the same reason, the same nutrients that are good for your plants are the same nutrients that are good for you, which are why plants are healthy for you. They uptake the nutrients and you eat them. And that's the way she goes. So we'll move on a little bit. Here's a giant comfrey. This one kind of took over a touch, but that's okay. Bumblebees really like the flowers. This one doesn't have flowers on it yet. It has dried up ones and some new ones coming, but the bumblebees really like those. More clover, a little more thistle in the way. We'll get rid of that. The grass really, this is an older strawberry patch. These are Eversweet, so they're ever-bearing strawberries. And that's basically my weed control right here. In my opinion, that's the best way. Well, especially for perennials, it's the only way. I mean, there's some stuff that you could spray and handle that depending on the weed and the plant, but prefer not to mess with chemicals. It just messes with the natural cycle of things. We'll move on a little bit and we'll get to our, this is mostly volunteer stuff. All of these tomatoes were basically just weren't harvested last year and they sprouted and came up themselves. And a few tiny ones there. But in here, and again, this isn't exactly ideal for production, the way we're doing this. I just kind of let things go for now. And it's not exactly usable. There's a lot of weeds. But the idea is to keep that kind of stuff to a minimum and still have production and provide habitat. Got carrots in here, volunteer tomatoes, and if we slide over here just a touch, I'm not sure what this big grassy stuff is or where it came from, but I definitely need to get rid of it. But the one thing we have to keep in mind with weeds, especially grasses, is that they are collecting carbon. They're taking atmospheric carbon, carbon dioxide, using photosynthesis and turning it into this. This is good mulch. Biomass. Biomass is important. Taking up, using your space is important. Any sunlight that hits the dirt, the soil, is essentially wasted. That's why Mother Nature doesn't like open spaces. Weeds will fill in very rapidly. So biomass, grass, is important. This, like I said, I'm not entirely sure what it is, but it's competing with my plants, but at the same time, it's harvesting carbon. So we'll just slide over here just a touch. And this is, again, we're in southeast North Dakota. This is big blue stem. This is a native grass. It's prairie grass. Lewis and Clark, when they came through this area, they said that they were able to tie the grass in a knot over the top of their horse. That's pretty amazing. That's tall grass. That's the natural process. Nobody took care of that. Nobody took care of the prairies. It did it on its own. That's a good place to leave off. The natural process is what we focus on here on Backyard Organics. And we'll pick up next time. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.